See how the grinding goes along on that edge, and then see how it works out really. Okay, I've just welded that. I meant to video that and completely forgot, but anyway, done now. So I'll have a think about the next part. It's probably, as I said earlier, I'm going to start making the parts up around the top end, and the curvy bit. That's going to be interesting, working out how to do that and get that nice. See how I go. I've been asked for a few details about dimensions on this because someone's already wanting to have a go at starting to make one. So what I've done is I've scanned this side plate picture, and it's now in more info against these videos I'm making. Now this is starting to come together now. I did a little bit of work on it last night, and it's starting to get there. I've got to build up this top plate here a little bit more before I start grinding the sides down to get the angle to look right. You see, I've got a lot of grinding to do along the two sides of this to get the shape, the profile correct on it. But it's improving. Now, this gearbox, to actually fit this M14 gearbox in, these little notches on the side of the motor case, I think that's where it's designed for the wires for the motor to sit in certain models of the gun, but I could be wrong. But the ones on this side here protrude a little bit too much, so they're going to have to be reduced by about half their height. Otherwise it just will not slide inside this casing. I've made it with a 35mm gap in there, and you can see it's it just will not go in with those. That's the tolerance I'm trying to work to. It's a couple of millimeters. Yeah, might even be 1mm. Right, so yeah. Now I've welded the front up. That could probably could do with being a little less rounded there, a little shallower in that part. If you look at the original and you look at mine, it's not that far off though. I'm quite happy with it. Right, what else? Right, okay, I'm going to start doing some, taking some dimensions and measurements. Now this here, when I measured it in a previous video, I said it was 112 or degrees or something. Now, what I should have done is I should have looked at the centre where that 0 is lined up. Instead I looked at where the 60 there was lined up on this thing. So this is actually 126 degrees. When you look at that angle, it's 126. So okay, there's an update on that. Now the barrel, I've been asked about that. Now quickly take some quick measurements of this. Now I'm not going to worry about this, but the barrel actually tapers. The taper is so gentle that I should be using a tripod. Anyway, let's get a measurement off this thing. Right. I think over at that end it's actually 19 point. I think we could probably call it 19.5 for the hell of it. Let's just unwind that out. Yeah, we'll say it's 19.5 millimeters. Okay, just to keep things simple. So up at this end, we'll say it's 19.5. You know, let's call it a 20 millimeter piece of piping. Okay. Now, the reason I'm saying about using a 22 mil, you know, who's going to notice the difference? Now, when I rotate that over there, swing that way, you can see it's a lot fatter over at this end. It's probably more like 1 inch over here. 25 millimeters. I'm going the wrong way. And this gadget. Hang on. I'm going the wrong way again. Okay, at this point here, it's 23.5 millimeters. Then it's much wider here. Right, this part, it's 28 millimeters here. Okay, and we take a measurement actually from, oh god, I can't support this thing. Right, take a measurement actually from the receiver, the end of the receiver here, and you'll see where it actually necks in and goes down to, what did I say, 23 millimeters thereabouts. That part is 11 centimeters long, and you can see it tapers in from approximately 9 centimeters. It starts to taper in to the point where it's about 10.8 centimeters. Okay, now this point here, where it's very wide, this is for people who really want to go to town on getting this looking right. We've got a big lathe. That point there appears to be 32 millimeters in width. Okay, and comes out about 5 millimeters there, and then tapers in. You can see that. So that's as much detail you get in there. Now, let's see, total barrel length. Okay, I've just measured from there, from the end of the receiver to the tip of the barrel here, and that is 67 centimeters in length. Now, the last section of this is the bipod section. Now that screws on, and that is 9.5 centimeters in length. The reason I want to use pretty much like wiring conduit is I've got a set of taps which I can cut a thread on the end, so I can basically make this section up using normal wiring conduit fittings and so on. I can just thread the end of a 22 millimeter conduit and screw this section on as this is done here, so that will make the job easy. And if you stand back here, you can't really see that there's a taper on this. It's not very noticeable. You make a replica up or an airsoft, no one's going to notice. The gas tube underneath, right, that is 19.5 millimeters in width. Okay, no tapers on that. We wouldn't expect there to be tapers on a gas tube, would you? So that's 19.5. Now, okay, I'm going to have to take a measurement of the length of this from there to there. Okay, including this piece which is fixed on the end there. And there's a little close-up for anyone who wants to stare at it. Okay. Now, take a measurement. Okay, that is 48 centimeters long. Okay, back to the rule. Now we can measure the wood. That is we'll call it 20.3, 20.4 centimeters. You know, call it 20.5 if you want to. Okay, the depth of the wood here is 6 centimeters. Yeah, and the width of the wood there is also 6 centimeters. So you start off with a nice big 6x6 block of wood and then carve it down. So that part there, it necks down to 4 centimeters, and the distance it does it over is, we'll say 22 millimeters. Yeah, and that end there is slightly less, that's 18 millimeters, and again, let's see, yeah, that necks down to about, tell you what, we'll call that 42, and we'll probably also call that 42, yeah, 42 rather than 40. Okay, now side on that measurement there, that's also about 42. This point here, that's a bit different, that is about 47. Good info, eh? Now, length of the stock. Okay, that's from that point there to there, we're looking at 24.5 centimeters, and then if I measure it there to there into that corner of it, we're looking at 25 centimeters, and we're looking from the very corner there to there, 27 centimeters. Okay, width of the stock down here at the back, we will say that is 11.5 centimeters. That point there, going in 5, let's round it off a little bit, 5.5, and then that piece of metal, its length there, 7 centimeters. That little angle there, 2 centimeters, 3.5, and then that is about 2.5. Okay, and that's what the actual swivel looks like. Yeah, and there's a hole here. Yeah, that's probably for when it's fitted onto one of the mounts that you can fit it on. I can't recall what it is now. Yeah. Oh. Really, I'll be getting round to all these other bits as I get there, but hopefully that's a good starting point for you all to work with.